Hello and welcome to the Art of Value Whispering podcast. I'm your host, Melitta Campbell, and this is a quick little bonus episode because I've planned for the first episode back after the summer is going to be next week's episode. But then I just suddenly realized this morning in a big panic, I haven't told you that the Magnetic Messages Challenge is starting on Monday and I didn't want you to miss out. So I wanted to record a very quick episode for you to let you know that you are invited to come along. It's a completely free 4-day challenge. And it's designed to help you understand exactly how to use your content. We're going to speak mostly about social media, but you can apply it equally to email or talks or anything else that you create. And we're going to look at how do you create your content in a way that really creates a powerful connection with your audience and takes them on a journey so that you can turn them bit by bit into your dream clients and build your credibility, build that awareness of your brand and the impact that you have through your work. So you are invited to join that challenge. You will find all the details at melittacampbell.com/challenge. And because I'm doing this so last minute, instead of me telling you all about the challenge, I am going to leave you with an excerpt of a podcast that I put out earlier this year that I recorded on the 4th day of the last challenge, reflecting back on what we covered and what people took away from that and giving some insights and already some ideas that you can implement into your messaging as well. So I'm going to leave you with that because that is the perfect description of what you're going to get from the challenge. And I hope you will join us. And, the more the merrier. I really want business owners everywhere to understand how they can have more impact through their messages, how they can attract their dream clients through what they're already doing, but through a deeper understanding of what it takes. So it's not doing more, actually you'll end up doing less, but from building that knowledge as to what works. And I've been doing this for 3 decades and I've seen clear patterns over that time around what works. And I'm going to be sharing that with you in the challenge and the highlights of that in just a moment. So do invite your friends. It's always more fun with friends as well, and you get the accountability. You can continue learning and supporting each other beyond the challenge as well. So just share the same link with them, melittacampbell.com/challenge, and I look forward to seeing you next Monday. Meantime, here's me. If you have listened to one or more episodes of this show, you'll be aware that one of the reasons that I started my business and my big mission is to help talented experts, service-based business owners like coaches and consultants and freelancers to communicate their true value so they can attract more of their dream clients, have a bigger impact, and all without having to feel fake or pushy. They can really understand that true value, weave it through everything they do, and naturally start to create connections with the right people and attract those right fit clients and opportunities into their business and build a steady business that comes from the heart. All of their messaging, their marketing, their offers, the structure of the experience they're creating, everything is coming from this value sweet spot. And this week, I have been loving showing up in the Magnetic Messages Challenge. And I wanted to share today some of the highlights of what I've been sharing that have had the biggest connection with participants so that you too can start to shift your thinking a little bit around how you approach your messaging, how you start to connect with your dream clients, how you start to build a relationship with them and bring them step by step closer into your business in a way that feels natural and authentic to you, so it feels natural and authentic to them as well. So over the 4 days, we were looking at the golden rules of impactful messaging and techniques like storytelling, how you can start to find stories, what that structure is. And I showed you how easy it can be, but also how powerful to use stories in your business. And then we looked about planning, how you can set yourself up for success, how you can be more consistent, how you can spend a lot less time on your content through planning. I know it's not sexy, but it does really give you so much more freedom in your business. So we've covered a lot in the 4 days. And what was interesting is 3 of the people that did the challenge this time also did it last time when I ran it in January. And they are in a very different space this time. So it's one of those challenges that is going to be helpful for you to do on a regular basis in your business, because you're always learning and growing and moving forward and getting braver as you test some of this out, as you start to create more powerful messages, as you start to connect with more of your ideal clients. And as more people say thank you for your content, that's going to give you a lot more courage to do more. And it was really interesting to see for each of the three people just how much of a shift they have had in the space between now and January. So day one, we looked at the golden rules of impactful communication. Day two, we're looking at your dream clients and how to talk to the problems that they have, the conversation that's already going on in their mind to really create that instant connection, how to use stories to connect with them emotionally, and then how to have that plan so you can be consistent. So those are the four core things that you'll learn in the challenge, and we're going to dive into some of those elements today. So the goal of the challenge is to help you understand what magnetic messages is, so that you can start to become seen as the obvious choice of service provider for your dream client. To do this, you need to be able to show that you understand their situation today and that you have empathy for their position. And we need to build this trust and credibility. If they believe that we are the right person to help them, that we have the solution, that we are credible, we can deliver on what we promise, then they're going to pay much more attention to our messages and what we say and feel much more comfortable taking that next step with us and eventually having a conversation with us once they're ready. So we need to build that trust and credibility and prove that our system works, so they have that belief. Now, the ancient Greeks had a really lovely methodology for this. It was called pathos, logos, and ethos. So pathos is building the authority, that credibility. Logos was having the logic, having a clear path for them to follow. And ethos was the emotion. And in our messages, we need to have all of those. And that's why having a series of messages through email or social media or a development in that message can help us cover these angles in a more fluid and natural way as well. Because all sales are based on emotion. We need to have that emotional connection, but it needs to be backed up with the logic that, yes, this is what I really want. And I can see that you have a plan, and I can see that you are the right person to deliver that plan for me. So you have all of those elements together. So that's what magnetic messaging is all about, bringing those three elements into all of your messages so that people really start to build that trust and feel comfortable and ready to take that next step. So I want to share a little bit of communication theory with you, and that's that communication is the transfer of meaning from one person to another. So it has two strands to that. One is the information that we put out there, which is where a lot of people stop. Like, yes, I've got the information. I know what I need to share with people, what I want them to know. I'm going to put that out there. Ta-da! Wipe your hands, job done. But the meaning comes from not just the information, but how people interact with that information. So this is the bit we need to pay a bit of attention to. What do we want people to do with that information? How do we want them to think, feel, and act as a result of experiencing our message? And I would encourage you to do the thinking for your clients. Too often I'm reading a message and I'm having to think, why are they telling me this? What am I supposed to do as a result of that? How do I take the next step? Where is this taking me? You do the thinking and answer all of those questions so that they read a piece of content and they're not scratching their head at all. They have that light bulb moment. They know what to do next. They feel they've had value or learned something. So really go through, as I say, the information, the interaction. What do we want them to do with this message? And how can we make that really clear and simple? Which brings me to my 4 rules of impactful communication. And you may remember this because we have touched on it in the past on the show. These are 4 rules I developed more than a decade ago now. I was asked to train some communication professionals in how to make sure that every message they created was working and that they had a simple system that they could follow to help them create those messages. So the first thing is to have a clear single purpose. Now, this isn't your business purpose or your personal purpose. This is the purpose of each individual message. What do you want them to think, feel, and do as a result of experiencing this one message? You may have an overall purpose for your business or an overall purpose for your content, but you want to have a single purpose for each message as well, because that's going to help you keep everything really focused and make sure that your clients don't have to think to figure out, why are they telling me this? What am I supposed to do with this information? So have that clear purpose. Then you want to make sure that you are audience centric always. Think of your dream client first. This isn't your information, it's their information. What do you want them to do with it? What is going to be most relevant and interesting for them? Because if you're putting out information from your point of view, they could miss your point altogether. So it has to be coming from a point of client understanding first. And then once you have those two, you know the purpose, you know who you're talking to and what's interesting and relevant for them, then you can start to keep it simple and relevant. And then the fourth rule is to plan. So another thing that we looked at on that point of being audience centric, how do you connect with your clients instantly? And this is my formula for creating instant connection through your messages. It's to help your clients see themselves and their situation in your message. And the more of them that you can put into that message, the more they're going to want to pay attention to, listen to, read, or hear your content. So they want to know what's in it for them. And that's always going to stand out to them most. The key there is to really get to know your audience and what's important to them. And this is where having a clear niche is going to help. If you don't have a clear niche, go to YouTube, type in Melitta Campbell confident niching, and there's a masterclass on there that you can watch. It's going to help you get started with niching and help you see just how powerful that can be, so you can take your first steps there, because it's going to help you really connect with your audience. And you want to reveal the conversation that's going on in their mind today. We talked about that just a moment ago. But if you were a fly in the wall, or if you were to film them right now in their situation, what are they finding difficult? What is keeping them stuck? What is holding them back from everything they want to achieve? And how can you help them with your content today? How can you take them on a journey to help them see you may be stuck here, but it's because of whatever mistakes they're making, whatever story they're telling themselves, whatever myths they've bought into, perhaps. What is keeping them stuck, and what will it take for them to solve that? And you can break down that answer through all of your content to take them on this beautiful journey of understanding, of value, of starting to take their next steps. And there's no better way to build that trust and credibility than to actually already be helping them with their problem, with their solution, adding value. And you're going to put yourself right up there at the top of their list of potential people to work with. So you're starting to position yourself as their ideal choice of service provider, which of course is our goal. And we always want to talk about the benefits. What do they walk away with after working with us, and how do we get them from A to B? So we have that emotional draw, the need of what they actually want, and then backing that up with the logic of how we're going to help them get there, so that they start to build that belief and we're building that credibility. So that's how those three elements that we talked about earlier, the ethos, logos, and pathos, all work together to create a really powerful and engaging message for our clients. And one really lovely way to do this is to bring storytelling into our business. And I love storytelling because our brains are hardwired to listen to stories, to absorb them. Stories were developed to help us as a community to grow and share ideas. So that idea of listening to a story, absorbing the content, and passing it on, it's hardwired into our brains already. And these stories can stick for a very long time. You've probably heard of the story of the tortoise and the hare. Well, that story is, I think it's more than 2,000 years old. And we still know it and can pass it on today. I remember going to a conference about 20 years ago. And this lady told the story about how she set up the sales agency, and then she ended up explaining that she was blind, and then she was escorted off the stage. But the way she told that story was so compelling. I remember really leaning forward all the way through, even before she had this big revelation at the end. And a few years ago, I was thinking, do you know what? I think I'm ready to work with a sales agency. And who was the first person I thought of? This lady who I'd heard speak 15 years before that. And the agency is still going. I just Googled blind lady with sales agency, and I came and I found her. And then I saw her name. I was like, yes, that was her name. Found her agency and had that conversation. Don't underestimate just how powerful stories are. And historically, it's the storytellers who gain more credibility more quickly. So it helps with that pathos part of this persuasion that we're trying to achieve. And the nice thing about stories is they allow you to speculate. Just imagine if, what would happen when? We can really transport people to a different future. We don't have to stay factual. We can really have fun with our stories, and we can speculate and imagine and share our vision of where we want to go. Even if we don't have a clear product today, we can tell people about, this is my vision. This is where I would love to make a difference in the world. I don't know what it's going to look like today, but this is where I'm aiming for. People could still get bought into that vision and remember it and remember, oh, you're the one with this vision. And I was so excited. I got goosebumps. It can be really, really powerful, and we can use it in so many different ways in our business. And they are super amazing at helping making the bigger picture, complex ideas, intangible things like our services to become more accessible for people to really understand it by using stories and metaphors and analogies and things to really help people understand our point in a different way. It's just such a powerful tool, but it can be really easy. And the last thing that we covered in the Magnetic Messages Challenge was how to plan. And I'm not going to go into right now how to plan. I would encourage you to go to there because I give you a downloadable planning framework that you can use very simply. But I want to give you some highlights of what to think about your plan. And now, one of the reasons we plan is to help ourselves to be consistent, to help ourselves make the most of our time, to plan ahead and get organized. But I want you to know that consistency is more about the quality than the quantity. So I heard some people talking about consistency, thinking that means they have to post every single day, or they have to post twice every single day. And obviously, if you can post every day, that's fantastic. But that's not the point. The point of consistency, I believe, is more to have that consistency of message, that consistency of building that trust so that when people see your email drop into their inbox or your post flash up on their news feed and social media, that they know, oh, I know Marie always shares good value. I'm going to pay attention to this. I'm going to open that email. So if you consistently share great content that feels valuable, makes them feel good about themselves, help them feel hopeful about a better future, and that positions you and your message consistently, that is the key thing here. Posting on a regular basis becomes easier with a plan, but it's that consistency of message. I would far rather you put out one brilliant message that helps people and positions you as their service provider of choice each week than put out 5 pieces of content that are just there because they don't really have that thought and intention behind them. So do think about what frequency makes sense for you, what's possible for you at this time of life with your current resources, because you want to stick to a frequency and make it simple for you and give yourself permission to do less but better. As you may know, that's my phrase of this year, less but better. And I really think that that's such a powerful concept that we can bring into our content, not to just do stuff because we need to put something out there because it's Tuesday, but more to think what's going to make a difference to my client and how can I best put that across and when can I have the time to do that. And also to repeat your core messages often. Now, I used to work in internal communications, and so I was putting out several messages every single day to employees of the company. Now, you would think employees of the company that are getting messages from the company every single day and hopefully paying attention because it's of interest for them because it's about their company would know what the company strategy is, what our direction is, what our vision, our values are. But they didn't. We needed to repeat that in every single message so that it really embedded in their mind. Now, I want you to think, if my teams internally, if I had to repeat the core message of the company, our core strategy, our brand message in every single message, every single day to employees, then you absolutely need to do that for your clients, your audience who are not employees. They're not being immersed in this information all the time. They are not going to remember. So repeat your core message often. So moving forward to planning, once you plan out what you're going to cover in the next week or month, you can start to see what content do you need to create. And you can start to think about the journey you're taking your audience on. So it's not just a case of posting individual bits of content. Think about, where are you taking your clients? Where are you helping them to learn more about you, about their challenge, about what's possible for them, helping to shift their thinking, being their champion, helping them see that where they're stuck today, that's okay, but they don't need to stay stuck because you're going to guide them to that next step and take them with you for that journey. And then this is going to create a really nice flow for your content that's going to feel great for you to create and wonderful for them to receive as well. I've been a TEDx speaker coach for 2 different events in the past. And one of the things that we always say about a TEDx speech is it should be a gift. What's the gift in that talk for your audience? And I would think, what's the gift in that journey you're going to take your clients on? And that's a really lovely way to think about your content, that you're gifting your message, your insight, your expertise to your audience. You're helping them feel less alone, less isolated, less despairing, whatever it may be that your purpose is and what you want to deliver for your clients. So think a bit differently about your plan, and suddenly it doesn't feel quite so difficult and it doesn't feel quite so overwhelming. And instead it feels quite exciting to create these mini journeys for your clients. And as I say, come along to the challenge and you'll get more insights and frameworks and tools and all sorts to help you with that plan. So I hope that has given you a bit more insight as to what exactly we're going to cover next week and how each of the lessons you'll learn each day and the little tasks you'll get to try out for yourself are going to help you move forward in your business, as I said earlier, without having to do more, but applying a little bit more knowledge and strategy to your messaging. So without doing more, you get better results. That's really what I want for you. So do come and join us. You'll find all the details and the registration at melittacampbell.com/challenge. It's completely free to join us, and I look forward to seeing you on Monday. And the podcast will be back next Thursday, as usual, with an amazing interview with Michelle Murphy. She has a business called Life on Purpose, and she's going to help us to learn and dare to dream bigger and look at how do we make our biggest dreams come true? How do we take that first step with confidence? What are the questions that we can ask to help ourselves find something really exciting that's going to motivate us to move forward and help us get in that flow and make our wildest dreams come true? So don't miss that episode out next Thursday. Meantime, have a brilliant week. I will see you in the Magnetic Messages Challenge, hopefully on Monday. I'm Melitta Campbell, your business coach and value whisperer, and I'll see you one way or another next week.